Hi, I'm James McGuire, and on today's eSpeaks, we're talking about a method to improve your data analytics practice by using a centralized, co-located data and analytics team. To discuss that, I'm joined by a major industry expert. With me is Ryan Swann, Chief Data Analytics Officer at Vanguard. Ryan, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, James. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to the chat.
So I want to talk about the co-located team idea. That's interesting. But before we even get to that, I'd like to get kind of a larger sense of what's going on in the analytics profession these days. As you speak with other data analytics professionals, what are a couple of key trends and or challenges you see with how companies are using data analytics these days? Seems like the dream doesn't always come true when it comes to the analytics practice.
That's a great question, James. Listen, across the industry, more and more firms are trying to use data and analytics, AI and ML to help drive business outcomes, reduce risk. And that means that a strong data foundation has to be established. So you need a mature ecosystem. You need a data culture where employees and contractors and consultants really understand that data is a strategic asset. It has to be governed and managed with a high level of quality so that then when we use it to create additional data, build or train AI models, that your result is a high quality result. And so really across the industry, I think my peers and myself are always trying to move our organizations forward to establish that foundation and scale it while we unlock the value of analytics, AI and ML at the same time. And so it is, it's a constant improvement, and the job is never really done because we continue to create more data. We continue to identify additional resources, additional correlations that bring us insight about how to serve our clients. So, and so that's what I'm seeing today.
Yeah, interesting. Well, yeah, you've spoken about the importance of a centralized, co-located data and analytics team. First, let's define this. What does it mean to be both centralized and co-located?
Yeah, so typically, organization, data and analytics, there's a pendulum, if you will. On one end, it's the siloed, fully embedded, siloed nature, if you will, data and analytics teams versus a totally centralized data analytics team that is providing products and services to the business lines. And typically organizations, particularly enterprise organizations, are somewhere in between. And so what we mean by centralized but co-located is that when we stood up the CDAO, as we were trying to continue to scale the use of data and analytics here at Vanguard, there was some things that we wanted to keep with a kind of federated or a hub and spoke model, which is context matters. Now, we don't do data and analytics or AI and ML for data and analytics sake. We do it to take a stand for all investors and give them the best chance for investment success. So the content, the business content matters. And so when we say co-located, what we mean is that we want our data analysts and our data professionals, our data scientists to be as close to the business as possible. We want to align their objectives so the business priorities are their priorities, right? And so that they get the context of why we're creating a dashboard, why we're creating an AI or ML model, a propensity model, or a natural language processing model. But it's centralized in the sense that we're able to help give those crew members, that's what we call our employees, to give those crew members career pathways. We're able to help them develop in ways by looking horizontally and partnering senior data scientists with junior data scientists that may be supporting different business lines. And so decentralization allows you to provide a training and development, career pathing environment while you enable enterprise capabilities and kind of cross-functional sharing of best practices that you don't necessarily get when the pendulum is on the far side of being siloed and that type of nature. So that's what we mean when we say centralized but co-located. It really allows us to get the best of both worlds.
It seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, the co-located piece of that means that more people get to access the data because it could be in many different locations, but the centralized nature of that is better for governance. Am I correct in thinking that?
Yeah, partly. The co-location literally means that the data scientists, that the data analysts is like sitting in the same pod. It's like on the same floor. The person that's sitting next to them is probably someone in the business versus in the CDAO. We do from a data access perspective or data lake perspective, we do have enterprise storage and compute that allows us to leverage scale and efficiencies to access data, compute, storage, those types of things. We absolutely do that as well. But the co-location is more meant to be, hey, I want them to be a part of the team, right? I want them to be a part of that business team that is driving business outcomes, whether it's for our institutional investors, our retail investors, or providing advice for clients, financial advice for our clients.
You know, you've talked about this somewhat. I'd like to sort of drill into this topic. I mean, how does this model improve functionality? How does it help the company or any company that uses it?
Yeah, so I think that a couple of things. From a people process technology standpoint, it helps a firm build data acumen across a number of professions, right? If the data and analytics professionals are all centralized and kind of off in their own building, not actually there day to day with the business specialist or the policy analyst or the sales executive, then that connection is harder to make. Not impossible, but harder to make. And so that's a key benefit because you're able to connect the dots, straddle the fence, if you will, between the technical side of what we do and the why it matters of what we do. And that allows business executives, business managers, frontline managers, sales executives to understand how they are operating impacts data quality, data as an asset, and ultimately our predictive power to help drive business outcomes, right? And so by connecting those dots, you kind of are raising all boats. And then from a technology perspective, you're able to take capabilities that may have been developed in one business unit and use them in another business unit, or find synergies and correlations horizontally across the firm that'll allow you to unlock value that you didn't anticipate. And so we've created a significant amount of value, incremental value across the firm by doing just that. And as we continue to mature and kind of move up the data maturity curve, it just becomes more and more important that connective tissue between the data and analytics and the business, why it matters. And so the co-location is a vital part of that.
Well, I think the other important piece is the idea of developing talent. And then sometimes those junior analysts could use the help of mentorship. I mean, does this help develop talent among the data analytics staff?
Absolutely. You gotta put yourself in the shoes of the frontline employee or crew member. So they need to see a career path for themselves. If they look around and there's only one or two data analysts in a business unit, then they know for a career development perspective, it signals that, hey, in order to maybe get to a manager, to get to a senior manager, you may have to change professions. And that's not what we want, right? What we want is to create a way to give them a career path and show them opportunities of growth. Maybe you want to go become a technical SME, or maybe you want to become more of a general manager. And so the CDAO gives them those pathways. And that comes with, like you mentioned, mentorship. That comes with training and development, learning new skills. Maybe you know SQL and you want to learn Python, Maybe you're a data analyst and you want to become a data scientist. And so those pathways allow us to continue to develop and encourage our crew to learn and grow, so that as they move through the organization, as they grow in their career, they have multiple opportunities to either go technically or to grow technically, or to go more into leadership. And so it's been very effective. Our engagement of our data and analytics crew has significantly increased, and I think that's a big reason, right? Every company in the industry, particularly in financial services and asset management, is trying to do more with data and analytics. So it's very important to us that we help our crew grow. We challenge them with challenging projects that are actually making a difference in the lives of investors and helping them achieve investment success. And that career development is one of the ways that we do it.
That matters for sure. I think the big question a lot of companies are wondering is, where is this all going in the years ahead? I mean, do you have a sense of future directions for data analytics practice in a corporate setting? What do you foresee?
Absolutely. I think a number of things are happening. I think from an AI and ML perspective, I think you will continue to see more and more AI capabilities, generative AI capabilities, leveraged by firms across the industry. I think you'll also see, and you're seeing this already, where SaaS offerings of technology, that the enterprise technology, incorporate Gen AI or AI capabilities directly into their product, whether that be something as simple as Microsoft Office or Salesforce or Tableau. Any of I could just go on a list of companies that are all have signaled that, hey, we want to deploy Gen AI capabilities into our software that's going to help us be more productive. It's going to help us identify insights that we would not have seen before. And so that means, from a data and analytics perspective, not only do we have to continue to help unlock that value, but there's an offense and defense to this, right? Which is, there are significant risks with leveraging generative AI and AI capabilities that we have to govern for. And so in the CDAO at Vanguard, our strategy is both offense and defense, where we are bringing together both a capability that's going to unlock value, but also reduce risk in a proactive way. And so what I mean by that is things like privacy by design, model governance, things like improving accuracy to reduce hallucination in some of these models. And those capabilities ultimately allow us to build functionality that will, at scale, have the right risk appetite, if you will. And so that's very important. And I'm seeing that across multiple industries, particularly the regulated industries. So finance, healthcare, pharma, defense, those type of industries where there's a lot of scrutiny.
Ryan, I think you said it. It's going to be an interesting sector to follow. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise today, and please come back and talk with us again sometime.
Awesome. Thanks, James. Thanks for having me.